The adrenal glands are very important to maintain the chemistry and the environment of the body. They produce certain hormones to regulate the blood pressure and the fluid and electrolytes. If the adrenal gland is not able to do its job, or adrenal insufficiency, or the name we apply to that is Addison's disease, it means those hormones are not sufficient or not existing, and the body cannot maintain the proper environment. It can't hold on to fluids well, it can't hold on to the electrolytes, and if it is in a severe situation, death will quickly occur.
Adrenal insufficiency is a medical condition in which the adrenal glands fail to make the normal amounts of hormones that they usually do. The most important hormones that the adrenal gland makes are glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Those two hormones are missing when an individual has adrenal insufficiency.
It's primarily involved with the electrolytes and the fluids. If the adrenal glands are not able to do their job, then sodium and potassium go haywire. Fluids the person can become dehydrated, the blood pressure can become so low not to be compatible with being up and around and not even being compatible with life.
Adrenal crisis is life-threatening. So when your body doesn't make enough glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid, it basically can't mount the stress response that your body needs in order to fight an illness.
Since adrenal insufficiency is a rare condition, it is hard to find someone with the condition. But in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there is at least one such individual.
My name is Melissa Boswell and I have adrenal insufficiency. I got it in 2012 and I found out because my blood pressure was super low. It was 60/40, I believe, and I was bruising horribly and I couldn't sleep. I had no appetite, and yeah, that's how I found out. On a daily basis, I'm super tired, I'm irritable, I sweat, which is disgusting, and I just feel very overwhelmed by the end of the day. Every day, I feel very overwhelmed.
Three primary symptoms of adrenal insufficiency are fatigue, nausea, and vomiting. Severe adrenal insufficiency can lead to extreme low blood pressure, which we call hypotension, and what we call adrenal crisis, which is severe hypotension and illness requiring emergent care and IV fluids.
Been to the emergency room. I've never been overnight, but I have been to the emergency room where they had to give me IV fluids and IV meds. I can go to the emergency room and they have no idea what's going on with me. If I need my shot or my solute cortef or anything like that, honestly, I've met probably two that know what they're doing. I've actually been in the same week. When I was pregnant, I was having really bad Addison's crisis because my meds weren't leveled enough, and so I actually went the same week and they actually forgot that I had Addison's disease. They kept asking me what it was. So
it's not easy. It's not to make the diagnosis, and it's not obvious. That's where somebody who has had the opportunity to see more cases than most people have has the advantage.
My name is Heather.
Hi, my name is Angel. This is my son, Devin.
Hello, my name is Shane.
My name is Alicia. My name is Candace Waller, and I am Sydney's mom.
Addison's disease is where your adrenal glands do not work anymore.
It's the failure of the adrenal glands to produce two steroids that are required for life.
It's where your body doesn't produce cortisol or like the genes that help fight off sickness.
It's basically where your adrenal glands no longer produce many, if not all, of the hormones that they would naturally produce.
The autoimmune destruction of the adrenal glands.
My pituitary doesn't produce enough ACTH.
It is where your body does not produce the hormone cortisol. This is not a disease that you can necessarily see.
There is no cure as of now, and it is a very rare and life-threatening chronic disease.
Many doctors don't even understand it.
People with adrenal insufficiency must replace these hormones every day.
Taking drugs daily. Steroids, that is.
I take around 28 pills a day.
And what medicine do you take for Addison's?
AC.
So I am on replacement steroids forever.
3 days without my medicine, I would die.
They must increase their dose in times of stress, illness, or injury.
How do you feel?
Feel like tired, hot, or
My body is in pain 24/7.
Weakness.
Memory issues.
The heat intolerance,
My stamina has definitely decreased.
It's brain fog.
irritable.
You feel alone a lot of the time.
It takes a very long time for me to get started.
I've gained a bunch of weight because of steroids, and I can't lose it.
Just barely being able to function.
How many times have you been in the hospital because of Addison's
a
disease?
bunch. I lost count.
No one understands.
Couldn't go to see my sons play ball.
Before I became ill, I was an Energizer bunny. I just went and went and went and went.
Can't do as much stuff as I was used to be able to.
Some days are better than others.
Your life is definitely different.
Yeah.
It's definitely life-changing.
It is a big life-changing event.
A new normal.
I think doctors don't know as much as they should, and I think if they did know, I think if they read up a little bit or educated themselves, they would probably surprise us and know maybe something what to do when we come into the doctor's office or the pediatrician's office or just the main primary care office. So I think it would help if they would just be a little bit more knowledgeable on Addison's disease.
And I've seen many people treat it for adrenal insufficiency, but when you go back and look at the testing, most of the time it didn't show adrenal insufficiency.
I just want everyone to know that we're out there and it's real, and even though we don't look like we're sick, we look healthy, or we look skinny or overweight or whatever, that it's real and that we're there and we're tired and we're just ready for people to be aware that we're there. Just full awareness. Probably my main general concern is just somebody not getting the proper care they need, because it's just so rare that no one really knows exactly how to treat it, or if someone needs to go in an ambulance or something, that they won't get the proper medication and then someone, tragically passes away because it could have been fixed with one injection. So that's my main concern, is just less knowledge to people who actually need help.
But when the adrenals don't work right, nothing works right. Well, you may have to know that you've got a doctor that can help take care of you. You have to understand how to take the hormones that you need to protect your body and protect your life. You need to always have a supply of the appropriate drugs. You don't want to run out. Even a few days over a weekend could make you seriously ill. It's a matter of a lot of education. And one of the things that was a big deal to me way back when was to have the medical alert bracelet to actually identify yourself as that you're adrenally insufficient. Making sure there's things in your purse, your billfold. I actually had one patient who tattooed it across his chest because he was so afraid that somebody would not know that. today it's easy just to order them off the internet. I used to have applications for here where you could state what you wanted to have on it. I have diabetes, or I have adrenal insufficiency, and it comes both in a pendant and a bracelet. Now with the internet, it's easier to get it that way than it is to try to fill out a brochure.
Yes, I feel very powerless. I feel like I'm a prisoner of my disease. I feel like some days I can't catch a break. If I want to take my kids somewhere, we have to pick one place to go that day because I get so tired and worn down by just maybe a trip to the mall or one trip to the park and I'm sitting on the bench. Or sit right here. So yeah, and I feel like I'm a horrible prisoner to my disease.
Research is going on in multiple different levels. First of all, the primary cause of adrenal insufficiency in many cases may not be known. For instance, you inherited a genetic problem that leads to your adrenal glands not functioning properly. Researchers are studying all types of things with regard to how you inherit those genetic problems, to what exactly the genetic problems are, and how it might be possible to avoid the genetic problems in the future. So there are multiple different ideas that people have about avoiding genetic problems related to the adrenal gland for future pregnancies. Other research going on is revolving around the treatment of adrenal insufficiency. So are we doing the best treatment? Right now, primarily we treat adrenal insufficiency with pills to replace the hormones. However, the body doesn't function with short bursts of hormones followed by nothing. The body actually achieves normal hormone levels by continuously secreting low levels of hormone and then increasing the hormone levels when the body needs more.
So you could see how researching delivery of the hormone in different ways, such as a constant infusion of hormone with a hormone pump that would infuse constantly under the skin, and that you could increase the amounts and times of stress rather than taking pills. That's another thing that active research is taking place on.
I've actually asked my endocrinologist about the pump and he told me no because my meds were too sporadic during the day, because sometimes I get too stressed out and I need more meds, and then sometimes I don't need more meds, so it wouldn't be as accurate for me.
Brian was my son. He was born in '77 and he was premature and in critical condition at birth. So, long history of health problems. The main issue is he was born without his corpus callosum, which is a midline brain abnormality, but as part of that, his pituitary didn't function. They didn't recognize the pituitary until he was about 3 years old, and then he started on taking Synthroid for thyroid, and then when he was 4, he actually started taking human growth hormone, and at that time the synthetic was not yet approved by the FDA, and they were still using human growth hormone. In about 1986, they pulled the natural growth hormone completely because they found that they were not able to purify a certain virus out of it. And so he did not have growth hormone for a year. In '87, we moved to New York, the New York area, and he went into part of the research program at, it was New York Hospital, Cornell Medical Center then. And so they were using the synthetic growth hormone, and the types of studies he was in, they had already done the basic, yes, it works, but the types of study he was involved in were to find out if they worked better if you took shots every day, or if you took shots 3 days a week, was that enough, and varying the dosage. And they were all blind studies, but he did very well with them, and he eventually was 6'3". The reason they stopped the natural growth hormone is there was, it's not exactly a virus, but there was something like a virus that they could not purify out. It was Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. If they used pituitaries to get growth hormone from cadavers, and if that pituitary had the CJD in it, it was passed on. It would go dormant for like 20 years, and his did not appear until he was in his 30s, and then when it did, that was a very difficult diagnosis because it is so rare. Most often, if somebody has CJD, it shows up when they're 85 years old. If a child or a young man gets it, it's because of the growth hormone. It's the only way they know of to pass it. So it probably took a year to diagnose it, but his condition was deteriorating, and then finally it took him